Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Night Talks Podcast. And today, we're basically going to be doing the match review of the game between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United. Manchester United went to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and it ended in a 2-2 draw with a late winner from Matthijs de Ligt. Now, it was a good game to watch, but it was kind of slow. It started really, really slowly and all of that. So it just kind of made things a little bit more lethargic a little bit. It's not like Man United players were lazy or anything whatsoever. No. It was a bit of a lethargic performance, based on the fact that both teams were trying to be more cautious. There was no energy at first. Man United were kind of in control of the game, but at some point it felt like, there was a bit of a struggle. But the good thing about this overall performance is that we are still unbeaten, even though it pains me to say that we drew the game to Tottenham Hotspur. And the truth is, in the last 8 games, we have not won against Tottenham Hotspur. No matter how much you want to say that is a damning stat, but considering that the last 4 games we lost to Tottenham Hotspur, then you have to now consider that fact and then think about it from that perspective, based on the fact that obviously it's been a very interesting time to be, because we lost to them last season 4 times, and then when you now have to think about it, you now understand certain things are going on at the club. But one thing that Ruben Amorim talked about usually post-game, was the fact that no matter how much you try as much as possible to try to win a game, if we are losing, we can't. As in, if we get scored on and we're not winning, we can't lose. And that's the mentality we're going into games with. Now we're in a 5-game unbeaten run, where we've won 3 games and we've drawn 2. The performances have picked up a little bit, but they have not, like, if you want to say, oh, maybe the performances have dropped. Now, I don't think they have dropped. It's just the energy in the game or in the team have dropped a little bit, in different, especially in second halves, considering the last 2 games that Man United have played. So it's pretty interesting. I put this draw down to luck, because when you look at it technically, Man United could have basically won the game, but then Ruben Amorim made the changes that he thought that would change the game, and he made some forced changes, which obviously we don't expect that would have been the case, especially considering where we are, how prepared we were the whole week. We had it off, and some players were given time off as well, just to prevent them from getting injury or getting re-injured, and then eventually that is what happened. They got injured again. You have to look at it from perspective of, okay, Harry Maguire was subbed off due to an injury. He was forced off. Nuzai Mazraoui was subbed off due to the fact that obviously this is his first game back, based on his first game back from injury as well, right? He was an unused sub a couple of times, so the intensity was not there. He was a bit off when it comes to touches and all, but he was defending well. He was stopping those crosses, was adhering to instruction, and that's what makes him a very important player for Manchester United. Then you talk about Patrick Dogu. This is his first start in a couple of games, so he will still need to have the rhythm, so he had to be taking off as well. Then you talk about Matthijs Cunha. The reason why he was taking off was because he was having not so much of a good game, basically, and he was struggling because I think he was one step behind when it comes to understanding awareness with regards to his environment and the pressure that comes from Tottenham, especially when you have someone like Javi Simons nicking balls off him a couple times. So that kind of takes this thing out of the game when we're supposed to be driving forward and all of that. Then we have also the pace of Micky van der Ven as well, kind of messing things up a little bit. So that kind of made Ruben Amorim to take him off, to change the dynamic of our game. Now, if you look at the starting lineup, before we even get to that point, the starting lineup, we had a situation where, you had the back 4 of, which I expected, because I did my match preview for the game, and I probably kind of thought that the Ruben Amorim would go with the same team that started against Nottingham Forest. But I thought about things before I even watched the press conference. I thought about things and I said to myself, you know what, Ruben Amorim is going to shock us and go with a team that is totally like different, that people would least expect, especially based on the fact that certain managers will want Ruben Amorim to start a certain type of way. But then he took out the striker and then eventually decided to, after taking out the striker, decided to bring in an attacking midfielder in that place, and Ahmad instead of Mount, put Ahmad in the 10 and the right as a right 10, and then Mbeumo as a left 10, and left Mbeumo as a left 10 all through the game, because he was trying to achieve something on that left side of the field where Romero was, and where he could actually use his strength instead of Micky van der Ven, because Micky van der Ven was more of pace. So he had to put Ahmad there to draw Micky van der Ven out, and then put Mbeumo to stretch Romero so that he can cause fouls. And you know Romero is very rash in his tackles and stuff, so he also got a yellow card and could also potentially get another yellow card. But then also you see why Ruben Amorim had to play Mbeumo on that side of the field, so that because Romero switches off, when balls like the ones that come from Ahmad comes, then Mbeumo can score. And that is what happened in between the defender and the right back in Pedro Porro. Mbeumo scored that first goal after the cross. Multiple crosses flew across and all of that. Even Dogu, who was struggling as well on that left side with his touches and like loose touches, heavy touches and stuff. So it was a bit of a struggle for him to actually even kind of progress forward, but he needed, to continue to do the same things over and over again till he got it right, and he started becoming our outlet, such that when Mbeumo or even Bruno raises their head, Dogu is already, going far and stretching the field, right? And that was what was expected from Mazraoui. But you can tell, even the way Ahmad and Mazraoui are trying to combine, Mazraoui was a bit off the pace, a little bit off the pace, not up to speed when it comes to, and that's what Ruben Amorim requires in every of the players in his squad. He needs you to have speed, he needs you to have mobility, and he needs you to have rhythm. So he was a bit off, and you could tell, and it was a bit of a struggle, a bit of a challenge. But at the end of the day, we were able to at least, get the first goal and then try to control the game. But in the process of trying to control the game, it was a bit tough to kind of like hold things back and be in control, right? We now sat back, and at some point Spurs were in full control of the game, full swinging from left to right. Spurs had to even change to increase pace in the team and everything, and then Maguire got injured. Once Maguire got injured, Casemiro also got injured, pulled something, and they had to take two of them off. And when you take two of them off, you've taken a bit of the spine of the team, especially in Casemiro. Now you take off Casemiro, you bring in Ugarte, you take off Maguire, you bring in Lenioro, you switch the Ligt to the center, and you put Euro to the right. But they had already put Odebear, right? Spurs had already put Odebear. Now you think about it from that perspective, and you start to say to yourself, okay, maybe we can see this game out. We tried, and then you take off at 55 minutes, take off Cunha, who's having a bad game, and bring in Sesko. You have 3 subs. Then you take off around like 60 something minutes, you take off Mazraoui and bring on another player in the mid to actually kind of move Ahmad to a right wing back. That way, you took off Mazraoui and brought on Mount. Then you moved Ahmad to right wing back. So you still gave us that same balance and all the midfield. We had your Mount, Mbeumo, and Sesko up top, and then you have your Dogu on the other side, and then Ahmad on this side. Then later on, took off Dogu and brought on Dalot. Now you still have your balance. You still have the team that can actually do what is necessary to see out the game. And when Amorim said it, we tried to see out the game, but it wasn't to be, because we didn't sense the environment that they were getting nervous. And once the fans start getting nervous, the team starts playing with intensity. The opposing team starts playing with intensity. So that kind of led us to, having to play the game the way we did, and we sat back a lot. We tried to play compact and stuff, and then in the end, we considered 2 deflection goals. Ahmad, for one, should have stopped that crossing. Same thing that happened in the last game when the left wing back could have stopped the cross, Dalot or even whoever was there, even Cunha at some point defending against Nottingham Forest. Now in Tottenham Hotspur should have stopped that cross from going in, but the cross went in. Odebear, and then Mathys Tel, who was just brought on, tried to turn and quickly score. And the same way he kind of scored against us when he was at Bayern as a 17-year-old or 18-year-old or something, he now turned and shot the ball, and guess what? He scored. That shot was deflected by Matthijs de Ligt, but it could have also been that when you look at the analysis and something, Shaw could have moved further forward a little bit to block the shot, but Shaw too was also trying to stay positionally aware, so that could have happened to anybody, but it was just luck. And then he shot the ball and it deflected, and Senne Lammens couldn't do anything, even though Senne Lammens all through the game had some saves to make and stuff. Then you now have this is the second goal where, you know, they were putting us under pressure. We were one man down. It was a bit of a hassle, and the next thing, from 1-1, they shot the ball and it deflected off the body of Richarlison, who was so excited, he took off his shirt, was even crying that, oh, we're winning and stuff. And then basically it deflected the ball and it just went too far for Lammens to actually try to get the ball out. And then eventually we had the ball and we pushed it upfield. And with the way we were playing, you could sense that something is about to come. You could sense that we were going to try to claw this game back. Lo and behold, push the ball forward. The energy continued. We raised our game up a little bit, just a little bit, 10%. We raised our game up, and then guess what? We finally got the draw. We got the set piece. Bruno again involved in that one, crossed the ball, and Matthijs de Ligt on the far post headed it into an open net. And guess what? We drew that game, and it was entertaining. It was intense, especially for the second half. It was entertaining, but you could hear from players like Matthijs de Ligt saying that we lost some energy in the second half, and we lost a bit of that bite to actually come out of our box, because they didn't let us come out. They choked us out and stuff. But it is what it is. It's one of those things that happens during the game, and I'm glad that I'm able to kind of give you a full-blown kind of analysis of the game. Now we are going to talk about, it was a chaotic draw anyway. Now we're going to talk about the player ratings for that game. Just to give you a bit of an update, as at the time of recording, Arsenal are losing away to Sunderland. No shot on target FC. Excuse me. No shot on target FC. I've considered a goal through Ballard, very wonderful blazing shot, and all of that for Sunderland. So it's Sunderland 1, Arsenal nothing. So we'll see how that game pans out in the second half. But then it takes us to our stats before we kind of do the player ratings. The game ended in a 55% ball possession to 45 for Sunderland, and for Tottenham Hotspur versus Man United, 55-45. XG was 0.96 to 0.63. Shots was 10 for Spurs and 5 for Man United. On target was 4 for Spurs and 2 for Man United, so kind of like 40% for both teams. Big chances, 3 for Spurs, 2 for United. Big chances means 2 for Spurs, 0 for United. We had 382 passes to 302 passes for Man United, 83% passing accuracy to 77% passing accuracy. So could have done better. You look at fouls committed, Spurs have 10, they're a bit aggressive as well. United have 8, and then corners, Spurs have 5, United have 3, and surprisingly we defended against all of those corners and all of that. You look at tackles as well. When it comes to defense, Man United have 26, Spurs have 26, Man United have 20. Interceptions, Man United have 6, Spurs have 5. Blocks, Man United have 2, Spurs have 1. Clearances, Man United have 22, Spurs have 18, so we're defending really well. Keeper saves, Man United had 2, Senne Lammens had some good saves, and Spurs have nothing, no keeper saves whatsoever, because keeper didn't save any shot, and probably because we scored from the only 2 shots we had, and those were headers, right? Then duels won 52 to Spurs. It was pretty even, kind of 52 to Spurs, 51 to Man United. Ground duels was 41 to Spurs, 55%, and 33 to Man United, 45%. And then air duels won was 11, 38%, and for Spurs, and 18, 62%. Man United won most of the air duels. Successful dribbles, Spurs had 8, 44%. Man United had 3, 23%. So we didn't really come out the blocks and enter second gear the way it is expected. At the time in the game, we were heading to second position, and then eventually we fell back to 7th again. But it is what it is. We're going into the international break with some energy and some momentum, ready to face the next game, which is Everton, who won comfortably against Fulham today. So we go to player ratings. Well, if you're going to say player ratings based on, you know, the performance of the players and the eye test and stuff, we'll start with Senne Lammens. Senne Lammens got a 7.0 from me. It was an okay performance, nothing too dramatic. He had some good saves, and it's because of those good saves I'm going to give him that, because if you think about where we're coming from in the goalkeeping department to where we are right now, and the fact that Senne Lammens has been in goal for 5 straight games and we haven't lost, then you could understand where this rating is coming from based on long-term consistent delivery. Then you can think about the goalkeeper. I mean, goalkeeper perspective, we've delivered that and all of that. Then you think about the defense. Harry Maguire, he came off in the 72nd minute with an injury, and since that time we considered a goal, because with him in the defense, it gave De Ligt and Shaw the ability to press high and still be able to cover back because they had the pace. So Harry Maguire gets I'll say so much of a 6.5 performance for me, not because of the performance, but because of the fact that he had little to do in the game other than just to defend properly and all of that. Because I wish he had more to do, but obviously, you know, age is telling and all, and we need a proper replacement for Harry Maguire in that team. Maybe we could get someone from the academy, but we need, because after him is De Ligt, after De Ligt, then the rest are really young 18, 19-year-olds. And then so I give Harry Maguire a 6.5, no, closer to 7. And then we have Luke Shaw, put in a steady performance, did really well, you know, doing the basics well, pressing when needed, coming to midfield to help and all that, which I've seen that he has added to his game for Ruben Amorim's system or team. So I give Luke Shaw another 6.5, closer to 7 in performance. And he was steady, and he has played, if I'm not mistaken, Luke Shaw has played Man United's 11 games and hasn't gotten injured, which is a good thing, right? Managing his load and stuff, but still hasn't gotten injured, and that is this longest he's been in the longest he's played in the last couple of years, right? And then you have Matthijs de Ligt. Matthijs de Ligt, pretty much a good steady head there, you know, was able to do the job at right centre back and then come into centre back, got the goal as well, so he gets a 7.5 rating from me for a great performance as well, putting in a good shift and stuff. And then you go to you go to Noussair Mazraoui. Noussair Mazraoui basically has a rating of 6.5. He was just coming back from an injury, hasn't played so many games, so the rhythm is not completely there. Was having a couple of heavy touches, and as well he was a bit behind when it comes to pace and stuff, so I'll give him a 6.5. Casemiro put in a steady performance as well till he got injured. 7.0, was really defensive. He was the source of our quick transition play, was the source of our defensive, you know, play and all that. He hasn't gotten any yellow card, and anytime he's been in the team, he's barely, you know, we've barely lost and stuff. And then you move on to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes gets a 7.5 rating from me. Got the assist, was involved in everything positive for Man United, had many opportunities to run into the box to try to score, missed a couple of chances, but then, you know, he gets 7.5 from me because he also got the assist, and he's created multiple chances, and his chance creation has continued to increase, and I think he's gone over 20 by now for the game, so he gets a 7.5 from me. Then we have Patrick Dogu. Patrick Dogu gets a 7.5 from me. He played 80 minutes, started pretty rough, but eventually became the source of our attacks on the left, and that's why if you see that triangle between Mbeumo, Bruno Fernandes and Patrick Dogu, you see why Senne Lammens will always load the ball to that side, because it was very important that we won that first and second ball and all that. Challenge for the first and win the second. So that way we would pressure Palhinha and Romero, who also got injured eventually, to go off, and Pedro Porro to actually, you know, kind of be on their toes. And then basically so I give Patrick Dogu a 7.0 rating from me. Did really well, closer to 7.5 if you can call it that. And then we go to the attacking mids, the 210s. First and foremost, we start with Ahmad. He got the assist, good game, good performance, good control. Just was not able to block that cross that was coming into the box, but he still gets a 7.5 from me because got the assist, was involved in everything positive for the team. And it takes me to the next person who was involved in the game, and that is Bryan Mbeumo. Bryan Mbeumo gets a 7.5 rating from me as well. Did really well, was involved in everything positive for the game, was pressing hard, was was working like a machine and all that. And plus the goal as well that he scored. You think about the fact that obviously, despite the fact that he was moved to the other side of the field, he still had a connection with Ahmad as well. And two of them are going to the AFCON. And there's rumors that obviously Bryan Mbeumo is going to leave the conversation about the AFCON and went to return to the team based on the conversation between the club and the national team of Cameroon. So we're going to miss Mbeumo and Ahmad, you know, when they go to the AFCON. So Ahmad gets a 7.5 rating from me for the assist and for everything positive that had to do with attacking. Mbeumo gets a 7.5 rating for the goal and being positive as well. And then we go to Matthijs Cunha, who had a poor game. He was struggling also in the game. The pace and the loose touches and stuff were not there. He was driving but still wasn't working. They were pressing him and everything. So he gets a 6.0, maybe closer to 6.5. But it is what it is. The other players, Benjamin Sesko struggled 5.0 or 5.5 rather, 5.5, struggled a little bit, came and got injured, came in the 58th minute, got injured and all that. Lenny Euro, well, 6.0, nothing particularly interesting to report other than, you know, he defended well, but, you know, was still there, right? So he came in the 72nd minute, played well. Man Utd, 6.5, closer to 7. Was okay, 72 defending, came in the 72nd minute, defending properly, chasing down the ball, hunting down the ball and all of that. And then you have Mason Mount, 6.5 as well, pretty decent game for him. Came and also was involved in all things like positive and control and all that, defending as well, so 6.5. And then you have Diogo Dalot, came in at the 80th minute, nothing major to report, came in, did what needed to be done, won some duels and stuff. He gets a 6.5 rating from me as well. And then for Ruben Amorim, he gets a 7.0, no 6.5, no 7.0 rating. And I'll tell you why, because I've seen some fans who come out to say that, oh, Ruben Amorim was not tactically sound, based on the fact that how could he have made all his 5 substitutions, you know, before that he couldn't even make one to cover for Benjamin Sesko. How would he supposed to know that Benjamin Sesko was going to get injured? Meanwhile, 3 of those subs were first ones. You talk about Harry Maguire, who got injured, he needed to be subbed. Casemiro, who also got injured, needed to be subbed. You know, he said we lost Maguire, we lost Casemiro. If you didn't know that, you just be making rash judgments without actually looking at what was going on in the team and the game. So Casemiro got injured, Maguire got injured. Then Mazraoui to just come back from injury, right? The first game back from injury. Then you think about Patrick Dogo as well, who's just coming back into the team, hasn't even played, started the game in the last couple of games, and then Cunha wasn't having a good game. These 4 or 5 players I've mentioned needed to be subbed off, and they were subbed off, and then we still drew the game. So it is what it is. You have to make do with what you have. And Richarlison scored at 90+1, Man United scored at 90+6, and we had 6 minutes extra time, right, with one man down basically. So you should give credit to the resilience of the team. And then the overall team performance or team rating is going to be a 7.0 for me, because of their resilience and the ability to actually come back, you know, from a goal down and stuff. Excuse me. So we look forward to having players like Lisandro Martinez come back, and then we can, you know, look at other things. And it was good to see, you know, other players on the bench like Joshua Zirkzee, Jack Fletcher, who came in place of Kobe Menu, who was was injured as well, got a knock. And then you have Aiden Heaven, who was also on the bench, and then Arthur Banderas, goalkeeper. So it is what it is. Spurs have a very long list of injuries, but then Man United too barely had injuries until today. And then more when they started mentioning injuries, players started to fall like a pack of cards. But it is what it is. With the lean squad that we have, we need to actually build momentum and all of that. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Who would you have rated even better than maybe I rated them, the way I rated them and stuff? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. And the next video you're going to see pretty much later is the what we learned from the game, you know, the things we learned from the game, and then it's kind of like the takeaways from the game, and then we'll just talk about it, break it down and analyze it. But then let me know your thoughts and feelings. And if you're new here, please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything. If you're watching this on Facebook as well, please do give us a follow and a like and a share as well, so we can actually, you know, continue to grow a community. We're having conversations all over social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, on TikTok, as well as on YouTube here. So our YouTube community is an exciting one. They always talk about stuff and break things down. Big shout out to all of our top fans in the YouTube community, ITN and co. You know yourselves. Big up to you. You're all the superstars. You make this channel to consistently and continue. Even Bryn Jeffries and all of that. You know, I see all your comments. You know, even you have even Ghislaine and co. You know, these guys. I see and these fans. Like, I see your comments, and we have conversations, and we break things down and stuff. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.